People, there was a time when I used to do only 9,000 word chapters in one go. I stopped doing that and tried to split these things up to make it easier for people to digest these. Also, I found out that I get more views when I actually keep this down to a 30-minute minimum. However, this thing is making it hard because this is only part two of chapter 3, and we have yet to get the plot going. But even if I combine these parts, we would still have problems getting the plot going because we're still stuck in Ponyville and I have no idea what's going on! Well, I got an idea what's going on. I mean that there is no plot. It's just been Twilight agonizing over her alicorn status and Quiet Presence doing who knows what. 3 chapters, people. By this point, Princess Tintu's already gotten this plot started. We already got into the plot of Arcade Striker's work, and Immortal Games already got into the Titan. A pony's nose is not as sensitive as it could be. Something which applies to all 3 main races. For most ponies, the brain prioritizes in this order. What I can see coming, what I can hear, what I can feel. Instead, I feel it depends on the race. It doesn't apply to every individual. Before I'm finally getting to what can I scent. But it's still more acute than that for some of the equestrian other sentient species. Griffins in particular, with very good olfactory detection for blood, fresh meat, and just about nothing else until it's directly under or actually within their nostrils. You can get seizing power within 2 inches of a griffin before they start to realize that there might be a problem, and their chefs tend to work beat the griddle. For the male cooks, cultivating and keeping facial hair is a mark of skill. They can tell exactly what they created without burning the decoration off. Older griffins tend to mutter darkly about younger generations who won't do their own hunting before pounding on the table, demanding to know why such a talented chef didn't have an entree ready 20 minutes ago. Twilight's sense of smell is a little above average. Feel will soon be coming along nicely, but it was still enough to, with her slightly snoozing deep within her protective cocoon of blankets, still pick up on the following in turn. Sheets, cotton, warm, nice warm sheets. Don't want to get up. Been up, buck and up. Was up, left, right, down, and then try before again. Hit a bell, no more up. Sleep. Pancakes. Lovely, velvety pancakes with maple syrup. Don't care. Ate already. Was having this terrible dream where I was an alicorn and didn't know what to do. Maybe because I had too many pancakes. Pancakes are evil. Want to sleep some more. Ink. Open bottle. So seal it before it all dries out. So write a letter to Princess. With another bottle of ink because that one can die. And I always get more ink. Davenport tells us to sell ink. Feel free ink for me. 2 months free ink. Not getting up. Sid's hair? No. Burning hair. Smelly. Someone's hair on fire. Smells like a tail. Scorched special tail conditioner. Like that one time Rarity was in the spa way too long. And then Spike had the hiccups, and they ran into each other when he was coming out, and oh dear Celestia, it took 5 hours before he stopped apologizing. Then he cried himself to sleep for a week. Then there's shrinking. Female shrinking. So there's a mare because her tail, which there's way too much conditioner in it, is on fire. Figured it out and never had to get up. Gonna go to sleep. As it turned out, one of the few things her wings were good for were standing straight out of her body as she flew. Okay, as a Pegasus, I'm feeling insulted here. Wings are pretty badass. With a gradual lack of literalness into a panic, the new limbs exploding from the cocoon within. After that, it was a matter of dashing down the stairs. We're perilously close to the edge because her wings would not fold once again, and the tip of one kept scraping against the wall, closing in not on the scent. The source of which was already out the door, with a scream of anger just behind it, or rather the cause. Spike! The law said no injury! You're not allowed to hurt any pony just because they're taking a picture of me! The little dragon spun in a single claw and stared up at her, eyes defiant. It was a familiar pose, the one which said, I may only be your little brother, but not as little as you think. Photograph, yes. I know what to do with that, Twilight. I burn the camera and nothing else. They yell. I throw them out of the library, then we do it again 2 hours later. There's something that's wrong about the way this sentence is formed for Spike. Like, feels too mature. Oh god, is this gonna be another one of those fics where Spike is gonna be more adult than he should be? He was trying to get your notebooks, Twilight. Your personal spell research. And Twilight didn't keep them hidden. Why? When I caught her, she just started ranting about how information was to be free and all data belongs to the people. She wouldn't drop them, and she just tried to run with them instead, so I made her drop them. He pulled himself up to his full height, which meant a lot less than he thought he did. You know, push her safe. She's gone. I'm not sorry, and maybe you better look around. Twilight blinked, as her quarter-dozing brain considered whether or not it really wanted to catch all the way up with reality. Then slowly rotated her gaze. The library was full. Again. Ponies with piles of books he wanted to check out, but only by her. What? Ponies with piles of books he wanted to check out, but only by her. Okay. Everybody sit around, and old Legend's going to help you break this sentence down into why I have a problem. You see, we need to first figure out the subject. Okay. So the subject of this book, of this sentence, because it's still a sentence, even with that dash, is Twilight. I'm going to guess that's the subject. Because if it isn't, then it's the pile of books. Okay, so let's say the books are the subject. Alright, fine. The books that they wanted to check out. Who is they? The ponies. The ponies wanted to check out the books. But only by her. Now, this raises a few questions. Do the ponies only want Twilight to check out the books? Because if that was true, then this implies that there are other librarians in that library. Otherwise, Twilight could just easily keep the library closed when she is asleep. Or are the books written by her? If so, then there needs to be a verb here that says written by her. But only written by her. So, seriously, I need to know, who is this only by her refer to? I am quite curious. Please, writer, put in a better subject. The cells were, at best, 2/3 full. At the current rate, she had less than a moon before it was just her and that lowly 8-pound economic fable. Nobody ever got past the first 2 paragraphs of her. Hey, Twilight? Order more! And she wasn't sure about that last part, because it could still be signed out, if only for the first and probably last time. Police had been waiting for an audience with her. Police who were staring at her in wonder now that they were in the presence of a princess. With this main, possibly even police who had been watching her sleep. You don't lock the door? Look, I know I've had people come through the dimensional barrier a couple of times on this show. I've had random people show up. But that's only because I forget to lock sometimes. Twilight should not be this stupid. These ponies coming in to see you unexpectedly is your fault. If you want to sleep, lock the door. And a butter yellow presence cowering in a corner near the atlases, trying to hide behind a coral pink mane with absolutely no success. It's very clear that horrifying things have been happening to her. And those things were known as other ponies. Immediate presence of. One stallion with a crane neck still had a camera pointing in that direction. Must have been eager to get his very own personal picture of the former supermodel. And Twilight knew what would have happened there. The law said you had to state your desire to not be captured on film. And other ponies had to hear you. Twilight sighed. It was only the tail. Right, Spike? Dragon's honor, her Reptilian assistant, familiar, nearly self-assigned bodyguard, and let's face it, little brother from a very large mother, huffed. And what a frequently challenged honor it had been over the last 3 weeks. Then thank you, Spike. He beamed. She had, at best, seconds before the crown found its mental footing. And now I think I better start singing to all these patrons. most of whom are going to be on the receiving end of my automatic recovery spell in a week or so, I hope. It should be a lot easier since I don't have to recreate all the notes. Starting with... Okay, once again, this fic is trying to put in reality. I get it. It's trying to go, in reality, Twilight would be swamped with admirers because all these ponies would be coming in to see the princess. Now, I've already established why this doesn't work the first part. The other problem is this. Also, realistically, Twilight organizes. You can see, here's the problem when you put in realism. If you put in realism for one part of a story, or one part of a character, or one part of a movie, you gotta do it for the rest. This is what I did on Fall. Mike wanted realism, so I applied it to the whole world. Same thing should be applied here. Twilight is a mayor who likes to keep things organized and on a schedule. All she has to do is put in a schedule for ponies wanting to meet with her as a princess versus library opening hours. It's very, very simple. Put it on the front door of the library. Hell, that's what Twilight really did. She put it on the front of the library. She also put it in front of the castle. What? Let me show you. See? This is the official Princess Twilight of Friendship schedule that she put on the Castle of Friendship only about a few days after she had gotten her castle. And I shall read. 11 a.m. Royal Court. 12 p.m. until 8. Library hours. Please assume that if the door is locked, I am busy off on an adventure with Princess Celestia, or am stopping a newly formed interdimensional deity that wants to destroy all that we love and cherish. I will be back in about 30 minutes or so. Signed, the proprietor, one Princess Twilight Sparkle. This schedule is also on the front of the school and also in front of Carolot. I should know. I lived through this. She headed directly for Fluttershy, passing a box full of temporary confiscated cameras on the way. This one, Spike. Of course, there was every chance the stallion had gotten in his back by sincerely promising to photograph Fluttershy, and only Fluttershy, on pain of flaming mane. But she had to walk. No room near the Pegasus for a teleport arrival. Still couldn't fly, and her friend wasn't trying to come to her, not as cornered as she was. It meant she had to pass through some of the false patrons. That in turn led to, Princess, I need a few minutes of your time. From Professor Coleman, that dress you wore at the gala. Get a look at the elements. Picture for my family. Needs to be in a museum. It's my yard. It's been in my family for generations to see every pony stop. The war was starting to get some real volume behind it. Was punctuated by a little burst of green fire. Given the incident Twilight had just missed, the crowd's attention collectively decided to consider itself as gotten, swivel towards the little dragon. In his best heartwarming host voice, the princess, as he knew he had just done that for her benefit, would apologize later, has made a royal decision to consult with an element bearer. One Equestria's valiant defenders, and dear Celestia Fluttershy was shrinking into her own withers, no other way to do this, requires the attention of the throne. Virtual throne, anyway. She naturally has priority. Spike paused. It looked as if he was searching for one of the more theatrical floors. Found one. For who knows what trouble might visit our fair land at this hour. Twilight wanted to applaud. She's an element bearer? What? She's an element bearer? Again! Louder for the people in the back! She's an element bearer? Okay! Thick. Let me get this straight. You want to be realistic with all of Twilight's reactions. You wanted to be realistic with Twilight having problems with being a princess. All right, fine. We're okay. I'm okay with this. No, I'm not. I'm fine with this. No, I'm not. If it means that this is part of your plot. Fine. Okay. It's stupid, but okay. But then, you have the nerve to have some random pony say she is an element bearer. Guessing. So let me see if I can comprehend this train of thought. Alright. Twilight becomes a princess. Everybody wakes out. Twilight comes over as a student of the princess. And so people take the time to finally understand she's just a student. Main six become element bearers. Nobody notices. Am I gotten this right? That Twilight becomes princess, you've decided to go out of your way to have Twilight do this whole entire spiel of, I don't know what I'm doing. But the main six become element bearers, become the heroes of the land, save Equestria at least 4 times by the time this bit comes out. And nothing happens. They don't get slumped. Applejack doesn't get more money. Rarity Shop doesn't become slumped. You mean to tell me that Twilight's getting swamped by paparazzo, admirers, etc., 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 and Fluttershy's not getting swamped with admirers for her massive milkers down there? Rarity Shop isn't getting swamped by ponies going, hey, give me the exact same dress you gave Twilight. Applejack isn't losing her crops because a whole bunch of ponies are descending upon it. You mean to tell me that this is taking priority over having the 5 destined heroes of all being in the town? Thick! You cannot pick and choose which rules of reality you want to follow. If Twilight's going to be a celebrity, the other 5 need to be a celebrity too. You can't just go, I'm not going to pick the other 5. I'm just going to pick Twilight because she's my main character. You hire? Yep. This close to cracking people. I'm this close. Spike 9, rather purposely. Right. So if your pony clear out, leave your books where they are. I'll post the camera box outside, and you can all sort it out from there. The library will be open once again in Equestria as well. It's really safe for the dangers within and without, and sometimes underneath or above, or Twilight lost the rest of this under the sound of the main drop tones and shifting hooves. But the end result was on its way out the door. All of it. Including, naturally, Twilight sighed and let her feel gently tug on a yellow feather. You stay. Okay, Fluttershy whispered, even more softly. But I don't want to bother you. You have so little time to yourself right now. Really, I could get what I need on my own. Oh, we're gonna do this with Fluttershy, huh? Fluttershy, I'm sorry, but we only have a Pinky bot on standby. Pinky said she'll get a Flutterbot as soon as she can. Oh, that's all right. I can handle this. I mean, you still have Last of the Dragon Lords up on this channel. I could just listen to that if I feel bad. Thank you, Flares. Luckily, this had been too soft for the departing crowd to hear, was including one vaguely depressed stallion. So I picked up our own volume. Yes, that sounds like it's going to be crucial to national security. You get to tell me the details once we're alone. Spike hustled, puts out a few flanks here and there. Polly's yelped and grumbled and shuffled towards the exit. And then, with the sound of a clicking lock, they were alone. Twice's wings finally went down. Fluttershy blinked a single visible tear at her. Sorry. Fluttershy, what do you have to be sorry about? How could any of this be possibly your fault? You haven't done anything wrong. I could have asked some of them to leave. No, you couldn't. And I'm not going to take any of my life's turmoil on you. Twilight put on the gentlest smile she had. The one who said everything was all right. Had been all right forever. And it wasn't an event that could take any place in the world which would be blamed on a shy Pegasus would come calling. It was almost enough to make Fluttershy's wings stop trembling. And it never worked either. Come on, Fluttershy. We'll talk away from the door. My hair's fine, thanks. I can't get her to move now? Very carefully, not that was probably going to matter. Why? The atlases are what I need. I just don't know which one, or the best flight routes. Rainbow Dash has a collection of air paths with labeled streams and currents, but she's not home, and I know you have a collection, so I thought, but your time's so really important right now. And with this, you could say with complete sincerity. Fluttershy, right now, this is more important than for me than spending my time on you. A rose-tingled buzz got deeper. Okay. Silence. There was longer silence. The exact amount of silence required for Twilight to realize the Pegasus, with approval for the meeting, finally understood, still needed permission to begin it. So, where are you trying to get to? It's a town called Trier's Fall. I have a friend out there, a really old friend, and I think he might be in trouble. I wanted to go there and see if there was anything I could maybe do. Twilight searched her memory. Geography wasn't her strongest suit, though at least got a couple of cards into the deck. But that name sounded vaguely familiar. Trier's Falls, Trier's Falls. Had there been some kind of big discovery made out there within the last generation? Something medical? She was fairly sure of it, but how far? Well, that's not be a problem, she cheerily declared. An easy problem to solve for once. One map, one flight path with labeled air currents. Check earning in progress. Let me just start looking that up for you. Felix stirred. The thick volumes of maps began to march in order, earning a startled E from Fluttershy as one passed above her head. Thick? As a Pegasi, a Pegasus pony, I just want to let you know, why do I need air currents to determine where I'm going? I just fly there. If I want to go to Manhattan, I don't use the air currents to determine where I'm going. I am the air currents. I fly. I just take up and fly. I'm sure your friend will be thankful to handle there, no matter what the problem is. She would be down one pulling from the small circles she would deal with normally. But Fluttershy had her own life to live, and that life... Stop. This looks promising. Fluttershy moved closer to get a look at the flipping pages. Seemed to consider whether this was a personal space issue she was on the verge of violating, backed off, realized she hadn't have a slight angle from her retreat point. Flew a couple of feet up, over there so as not to get into Pony's way. You think so? Her voice was beginning to brighten with hope. That particular crisis over, then. Or at least postponed. Yes, there it is in the index. Now we just need to get to the right page. Skimming, careful around the corners, so you don't want any creases. And there it... The blink was hard enough to almost hurt. Fluttershy, that's a 15-day gallop and 3 by train. Even if you fly, you'll take... So she stopped herself right there. Even after Fluttershy had won some praise from the wire transfer operation, the Pegasus' normally slow flying speed remained exactly a weak spot in her forever fraying confidence. Although it was more than Twilight could manage, as was the hovering. As a side note, I'm letting the whole entire gallop and train thing go since the show's never quite specific, so I'm fine. She's prettier than me. She deals with the wild better than I do. Any flying she pulls off is superior to my own area of flying, and she is my friend, and I love her for all of the more. I am not jealous. That came out of nowhere. Tyra resolved to say a few more times in private until it all sunk in. How did one of your animal friends get all the way up there? The sound from the above was exactly halfway between a whisper and a squeak. Twilight can't decide eternal. Sorry, didn't catch that. Pony friend. You have. The overhead eat told her she had gone too far. Again. Yes, Twilight, she has a pony friend who is not you or one of the other bears. Fluttershy's existence did not begin the day I came up behind her while she was rehearsing with her bird chorus. Somehow, the single most shy retiring pony I've ever seen steals herself to the point of making a friend without my knowledge to be a direct witness to it. I hope it happens again someday, and I truly hope things stop slipping out of my mouth soon really sound now. Pick up the shattered pieces of the fragile conversation, examine the edges for possible fit, apply adhesive and hold to the princess, hold to herself, not to wind up to smaller pieces. So a pony friend outside Ponyville? She was trying to keep it casual. Might have been one of the kingdom of it. Mare Stallion. Under a too long version of it eventually, she got to Stallion, but not like that. That's the smallest emphasis on the last word. He's an old friend, really. I've known him forever. He used to come to Clydesdale to see me every year or so, just to make sure I was okay. Made the trip just for me. He's so nice to every pony, and he always has so many ponies who need him, but he would take the time for me. Twilight automatically looked up. Sure enough, the blush was steeper than ever as Fluttershy struggled with the idea that any pony would consider her worth the effort to cross the street. It wasn't easy for him to come there either, but he would, for me. She stopped and looked directly at Twilight. With that firmness would surprise the others almost every time it emerged. If he's in trouble, I had to go help him, no matter how far it is, even if I had to go all the way there on hoof. Or train. We have trains. An old sillyhood friend. Some pony who clearly cared about Fluttershy. And Twilight was guessing Unicorn and Earth Pony if just getting to Cloudsdale was a problem. A pony who had managed to win her trust to the point where she would drop everything at a moment's notice to just go and see who was in trouble. Twilight wanted to meet this pony. One of the first things she wanted to do after pressing his hoof was ask him how he'd done it. He sounds very special, Fluttershy. He is. But I might have to. I'm so sorry, but my bits, the train, all the way out here, I don't know if I can really. My stupid hesitant. I can loan you a few if you need to make up the difference. Twilight assured her, waiting for. Sure enough. I'm sorry for being so poor. Applejack was forever worrying about the farm, but the family survived and even threatened to thrive during the weeks when they didn't have to rebuild any barns. Rarity had to anticipate or create the ties that fastened or drown the sea of debt. Rainbow Dad spent freely and frivolously, generally on herself. Piggy Pie had very little money, but somehow managed to make what she had stretch to fit one pony, one alligator, and 15 tons of party supplies. So much Twilight was sure had existed until the moment they were pulled out. For her own part, she had her research grants, plus a small award from the Equestrian Magic Society every time she improved a spell and got to add her librarian salary to that. And she kept a little boost in casting efficiency coming, didn't let Davenport rake her over the coals. She was typically able to get by. She had yet to recalculate for royalty-free, a fact that Davenport hadn't wiped out yet. But Fluttershy, a little agreement with the cakes for extra eggs, some pet grooming plus kennel hosting services when ponies had to travel away, a small stipend associated with tax break from the Weather Bureau that she never quite explained in detail, some underbridled veterinary services from those ponies who trusted her more than an official vet in town. No wonder it was given a choice between her and some pony who couldn't recognize a dragon. And most moons, that was about it. Given the amount of animal feed she needed to buy, the frequent repairs to the cottage under a new animal fizzer had quite calmed down immediately. A few ponies who tried walking out on their bill with certain knowledge of Fluttershy wouldn't want the stress of dragging any pony to a small claims court. Some who had kept coming back for more freebies. Oh, by the way, the whole vet thing, joke! It is a joke! Why do you people keep doing this? You do not need to go for some ham-fisted explanation just because somebody jokingly goes for a joke about a dragon versus an animal in a comedy show. Do you put this much thought on Azumagadayo? Do you put too much thought into Excel Saga? Please, let me know! That part had mostly stopped after Iron Will, and just no longer being watched so quite badly in the marketplace, first I could now manage the occasional you never paid me the first time, and with that sticking to the pony's property to treat the animals secret, if for free, because I just can't leave the poor thing to suffer. In the event that the creature needed home care, She would heed the lesson of Philomena by leaving a note, possibly signed with the animal's name. Yeah, because heavens knows there couldn't be two vets in Ponyville. Oh no. It's just like there could be a town with two dentists nearby. Oh no, 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 no. Heaven forbid. Fluttershy generally teetered along the absolute edge of an economic chaos curve with bankruptcy on every side. Having to travel so far for so long would be a financial hardship she'd not be able to endure. She had to know that. And she was still going to throw her entire life into a holding pattern in order to go help her friend. Twilight really had to meet this stallion. Before she did that, she had to speak to the others about a sudden need for a full round of pet grooming. Although getting Fluttershy to charge very much for friends was difficult, and a full bill on Tank was impossible. I cleaned his feet, polished his tail, and there's still 57 minutes left. You'll pay me back, Twilight told her, and I'll forget the debt. Problem, you won't. But that was an old problem. Something else he couldn't find to listen to, and incidentally, one more thing where being an alicorn meant nothing. So, what's your friend's name? Any pony you might know? Surprisingly, she got a side nod. You might. So many ponies do. By the way, did we really, really need a discussion on the girls' monetary issues? Do we really need that? Lock, click, door flying open, Spike running in. Any chance of having Fluttershy fist are set in stride under the posture of pounding the clawed feet. Holding a scroll, an official scroll which was crackling fast-fading flame, an odd underlayer of energy almost gone. There would be times Twilight wished she had taken a closer look at the fantasy field. There would be many of them. We need to care a lot, Spike gasped. All of us, right now. Oh no, Vic, please, don't get me started on the plot. Surely you could tell me more about Twilight's tax breaks. All the crisis had to be pushed aside to make room for a new one. It had begun to rain, and every drop had been like a little hammer slammed into her skin. Guys, what do you do while I'm reading these dragging scenes? Do you play video games? What kind of video games? I hope you have fun. She had found a hollow of sorts, just as the base of a hill, her first hill, one covered with greenery and thin trails she was unable to use. There was also a boulder, about 2 sleds higher than her main, protruding from the side of the hill. She knew it was a tiny part of the eternal structure, pushed out over the course of centuries by tremendous unseen pressures. Did, did Watership Down ever have to always explain what the Rabbits' language was? She did not question how she knew that. The knowing had been very little pain associated with it, and most would be misdirected nerve firings. She could see the rock that had not been anywhere close to exertion, and glanced at ground level yesterday, and she knew it would not fall today or tomorrow, or the day after for so many days and nights to come. It was shelter, so she huddled under it and trusted it more than anyone else in her environment, excluding her. The hunger was still with her. When she had run from the wreck of the apple tree, a single fruit fell and trailed in her wake. It had not been enough. She had been taught about what things grew and where, but she couldn't find any more of them. Then there was the grass. She knew a pony could live on grass if they were desperate enough, but there wasn't much suggestion to it. Tremendous amounts were needed for more than to make it tomorrow, and she was using far more energy than that. Chewing the grass, swallowing the grass, her jaw trembled and lost half the mouthful. Her throat ached and tried to push it back up. Been that way for the apple too, but at least the taste had been normal. There was still that. Her senses worked, even when new ones pushed in. Fade out gave her information. Couldn't always interpret. She knew the rock, because she was always known to rock. Nearly everything else was a blur of synesthesia, and most of it was twisted by the pain. But that pain was just physical, agonizing. Fire, lightning, and cold and sources she had no name, all searing without respite, at least of her heart. The one which would never heal lay within her soul, and the wound wept words in endless litany. I wasn't the one. I didn't finish the great work. I failed. I failed every pony. I failed him. The pain was building again. Soon she would start to lose her feel to the rock. She would try to hold on to it, use it as an anchor to keep her from being lost. She knew she would fail at that too. I wasn't the one. I failed. I couldn't finish the great work. I failed every pony. I failed him. It was as if her ribs were trying to shift under her muscles. Soon they would, and the muscles would tear to let new bones through. The sin disoriented, but never quite breaking. At least not the first time. This will be a second pass coming. At least this way. Maybe we tear this time. Let the blood rush out, end the litany of our failures in a single liquid cascade. Or maybe we'll simply stretch over and over. A second first, same as the first. Please, let me die. Hey, I went out too, but I'm not going anywhere.